I'm Alex Pault, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today, we're going to take a hands-on look at this Bulova Lunar Pilot limited edition Meteor face. They made about 5,000 of these, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on one. I don't believe that they'll go up significantly in value, but it is a nice collectible, and as I believe is the best alternative to the actual Omega Speedmaster. And the interesting thing about the Lunar Pilot is the original did go into space and go onto the moon with Apollo 15 on Dave Scott's arm. He was given a Lunar Pilot and wore it on the moon when his Speedmaster had a crystal malfunction. The plastic Hesselite crystal popped off of his issue Speedmaster, so he wore the Lunar Pilot to the moon for Apollo 15, which was also the first to have the lunar rover. So let's turn the camera around and take a look at this really interesting watch. Here's the Meteorite Bulova Lunar Pilot, a really striking piece. The beautiful thing about the meteorite-dial is the pattern, the crystal pattern is very unique to meteorites, and they're, of course, different with each watch because of the fact that it slices from a crystalline block. It really does bring this watch up to the next level because the Lunar Pilot has been around for a while, and I've got a regular version of it here. There's also now a white version with blue highlights, a really beautiful piece. But the original Lunar Pilot, this one here on the right, is a very good Speedmaster alternative. It's a good looking piece. It compares well to the Speedmaster. The reason Bulova made the dial look very much like the Speedmaster dial back then wasn't even for homage purposes. They didn't want to confuse the astronauts who were going to be using both watches in space. In fact, the Bulova Lunar Pilot, the original one, mechanical, went up in space with Dave Scott, who went up, was the commander of Apollo 15. Now, there's also a scandal about mail covers, of stamps on postcards that are symbolic of the stamp's first issue. And there was a small scandal involving stamps being brought up to the moon and were sold on Earth through a dealer who, those details of it all are still very murky. But in that slightly commercial vein, Bulova gave Dave Scott a Bulova Lunar Pilot to wear on the moon. And while he was on his way there, his Speedmaster, the crystal popped off, which is one of the reasons they use a plastic crystal on, the Hesselite crystal on the original Speedmasters, was in case of an accident and the crystal was damaged, it wouldn't shatter into razor sharp pieces that would be floating around in microgravity. So the original Lunar Pilot, or I shouldn't say the original reissue of the Lunar Pilot, this quartz version with the high beat quartz, is an excellent watch and is an arguably great alternative to the Speedmaster. But then once you bring in the meteorite-faced Lunar Pilot, you really, really do have an interesting, collectible, unique alternative to the Speedmaster, which gives you then a great opportunity to have, your cake and eat it too, as it were, because this is unfortunately currently sold out. I don't even know what the aftermarket prices are going to be. I paid $1,300 for this, and odds are it'll probably go up higher. I just looked on Chrono 24, and they're selling there from between $1,400 and $1,700. So I could see these maybe crawling up to $2,500 eventually. They made 5,000, so it's going to be a little resilient to speculation because it is a quartz piece. The meteorite-dial is what makes this model, and is why I say that this is the best alternative to the actual Speedmaster, because the meteorite-dial is space-oriented, and it makes up for the fact that it's a quartz piece. Now, the fact that it's a high beat quartz piece speaks well for the movement, but the all in all, you could the way I use them now is I keep my Speedmaster, and I've done this for a while, on the factory black alligator strap, and I wear this with suits. And now I've got a piece that I can wear in bars, because I don't trust this piece is pushing 30 years old, and I don't want to damage it. I mean, it can take punishment, but why punish it? And now I've got a watch that I can wear casually that is a very cool and, like I said, best alternative to the Speedmaster. It really is a nice piece. Now, compared to the old Speedmaster, the old Lunar Pilot, this comes on a leather NATO style strap, but I always cut my keepers off, so there's no keeper on this one. But this is the strap that they issue this watch with, and it's got quick release pins, spring bars in the back, and it's got a very interesting legend on the back. Let's take a quick look at that. Zoom in tight. There we go. Let it come into a little bit of focus. And it basically, says how the watch made it to the moon, and also where the meteorite came from that the face of the watch is made from. So compare that to the back of the standard Lunar Pilot. It has a Bulova symbol and talks about how it went to the moon on Apollo 15. And they're actually both nice presentations. I'm just really pleased with that the presentation on the back of the Meteorite Lunar Pilot is as interesting as the presentation from the front. In fact, I'm going to do a Fun with Straps episode, because it's a standard 20 millimeter gap. And let's see, this model is at the widest. So this is the 43 millimeter, and it is 13 and change thick. You can almost say almost 14. So it really is a sharp, good-looking, well-made piece. I like the titanium case and the steel highlights of the bezel. It just comes together well, and the pushers are polished as well. It gives it a nice two-tone feel without being actually two-tone metal. So let's take a look at it on the wrist. Wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Cartier Santos XL on a NATO, because it is hot as heck outside, and this wears well on sport straps. I know a lot of people, would freeze and freak out at the thought of not having this on the factory metal or the alligator strap, but I've worn this on rubber and NATOs and the like. I've got a Fun with Watch Straps episode on this. So let's put this on. It's a really nice watch. I do like it a great deal. I like it more than I thought I would. I really do. I like it way more than I thought I would. It's a surprisingly nice piece. So on the wrist, on my 8.5-inch wrist, it looks very nice. It has good wrist presence. It sits well. And it is a big piece, but if you have a big wrist and hands, it works extremely well. So that was the Bulova Meteorite-dial Lunar Pilot. Just a really, really nice watch. And you can't buy them on new anymore, but I've seen them online for under $2,000, and arguably the best moon-oriented, space-oriented watch out there. There are some others like Xerix and the like, but this one really does take it, in my humble opinion. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and tell your friends. Thanks.